everyone, welcome back to the Knits and Makes podcast. This is episode 8. My name is Libby and today is March 21st, 2021. It's Sunday and I'm coming to you from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. So it has been a little while since my last episode. I believe that was at the beginning of January. I'm not gonna apologize for taking a bit of a break because I feel like January and February were kind of, a bummer. I don't know if anyone else kind of goes through that. I feel like I saw a lot of discussion online about people just like not feeling it, and I was not feeling it. I wasn't posting a ton. I did finish. I had a period of time where I was finishing a lot of things, so I was posting my finished objects, but other than that I was not really motivated to create any content. I have been knitting, but I just was like, don't really have it in me to share and be positive because I wasn't feeling that way, and I didn't really want to come off forced because I'm not interested in that. Hi baby. Lola has come to share her piece as well. Stop it. If you're gonna be good, you can stay. If you're gonna be a brat, you have to go. So anyways, so yeah, it's been a little while since my last episode. I do have lots to share as always, so I hope that you all are also feeling good, feeling better. I know it's the anniversary of COVID. Do we want to talk about that? Maybe not. So maybe there are some feelings associated with that, and I'm right there with you. So yeah, if you're feeling a lot of things right now, I'm there with you. I hope this isn't the craziest introduction ever. I'm sorry, I definitely feel out of practice, but I want to get back into it. I want to share with you guys what I've been doing because there's been a lot. There has been a lot that I've been creating, and I'm definitely inspired. Now that it's spring, I think today's the first day of spring, which is crazy. I feel like winter it was long, but it was really short at the same time. Is that what this whole year has been? I don't know. So it's spring. The sun is shining today. It feels like spring. It's warm for us. I think it's 14 degrees. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's warm for Canada. So I'll take it. The snow is pretty much gone. We just have like piles, a couple piles that are left, and they're always the last to go. So I can live with that. Bring on spring. Should we talk about knitting? Is that crazy or no? I'm wearing a couple finished objects. I'll talk about this guy first. So this is the itsy bitsy ascot. I think I talked about this on my last episode. I was doing it as a test knit, and I think I had like the wee little end done at the time, but now this is it all the way around, tied in a knot. Super cute. This pattern is by O Joshi on Instagram. Her name is Josie, and I think this was her first pattern. It was really cute, really fun to knit, simple but effective, classy. I'll take it off just to show you. I just wanted to show you what it looked like on and styled. Mine is a little longer than the pattern recommends because I wanted to be able to tie it in a double knot and wear it off to the side or wear it down, like a Girl Guides. So this is how long it is. Finger. Pretty long, it's more than half my wingspan. I believe, I can't remember what it was in the pattern, but it was something like your neck circumference plus X many of inches, and I doubled it or something like that. So mine was very long. these little, like the little ends are just terribly cute. I don't know, like it's really simple, but very cute. This just like knitting a long tube, essentially, like that's what it is circular and then you lay it flat to dry. Knitting a tube that's like 2 feet long, it is a little, you know, monotonous, but what I found really helped me was I would put a stitch marker in where I started and then, you know, do my knitting for the evening or whatever, and then you could see the progress happening that way, because when you're just knitting around and around and around in a circle that kind of never ends, it feels like you're not making any progress. So I just put a stitch marker in every time I was working on it, and then I could be like, oh, I did 2 inches this session, and that feels really good. So this was really cute. The yarn that I used, oh man, what was it? It was from a Crooked Kitchen yarns, the Crooked Kitchen yarns. Sorry. And the colorway was Mischievous Grin, I'm pretty sure. I love how it knit up. Like, it's really cute. This was like the perfect yarn for this project. I had to use a very different needle size than was recommended in the pattern because my gauge is a joke. So check your gauge. Always check your gauge. I was never really one for gauge checking, and well, now I am because my gauge is ridiculous. So that is one finished object. Very cute, very small, very simple. I highly recommend. Very cute accessory, especially for spring. This is another finished object, which you probably saw on my Instagram. I don't know, I'll stand and try and show you. So this is cropped. Show you some details. That's the yarn. Anyways, it's a little tee. This is the BFFT by Kate Oates Designs. It's like a boxy style, teeny wee sleeves. The pattern has an option for knitting like t-shirt length or full sleeves, long sleeves. Some of the long sleeve versions that were knit in the test knit are really cute as well. Like, this style of garment is very wearable and very cute. So there's a little, like, it's really simple, but there's a little cross detail here. I don't know if that will show, but anyways, so there's a little asymmetrical, like it's not a full proper X, it's a little bit asymmetrical, which is really cute. Kate loves asymmetrical details, so I love seeing those in her designs. It has a little, you know, a little bit of a neckline, like a ribbing on the neckline. Anyways, what more can I say? It's boxy, it's oversized, it's a tee, it's cute. I really love it. I knit this out of, the pattern was kind of intended to be knit with like a cotton or a linen or a drapier yarn. So I knit mine with Trailhead Yarns. This is their little band. And it's Appalachian Trail. The colorway is Dark as Night. Those are the beats, if you're so inclined. So this was my first time knitting with Trailhead Yarns, and I did enjoy the process, but there was a learning curve for me because I don't typically knit with fully cotton yarn. It's not, what is it? 65% cotton, 35% nylon. So there's no wool in it. Trailhead Yarns is a company that they do not use any wool in their yarns. They have a few different types, and there's like, I believe they have cotton, linen, nylon, like all different kinds, but there's no wool. So if you have any wool sensitivities, I highly recommend checking out their brand because they have a great variety of yarn that is not made out of wool. So I think this is my first time working with like full cotton yarn. It's a fingering weight, and it was definitely different. Like, it was different than working with wool because that's normally what I work with. So I'm comfortable with that. I don't really know how to explain it, but wool typically, in my opinion, is a little bit lighter, grippier. Like even superwash wool has a bit of grip to it. The yarn tends to stay where you put it, if that makes sense. Cotton yarn is really drapey. It's almost, I don't want to say cold, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like it's cooler to the touch, and I don't know what I'm trying to say here. It's just different if you're not familiar. So it took me like, I think I did 4 different swatches to finally get the gauge that I needed to knit this pattern. So again, test your gauge, check your gauge. And this pattern, it's knit, sorry, what am I trying to say? Top down, but it's knit flat until you join in the round under the arms. So check your gauge in like circular gauge, and check your gauge back and forth knitting, because even that could be different. You might have to change your needle size halfway through your project. It matters. Just do it. I promise you won't regret it. I used 2 skeins of yarn for this. The pattern, it was really interesting because I think all of the test knitters had different, fairly different yardage for their finished garments, but I think I was the only person who did a fairly cropped version. I think there were 2 inches that, like, it would have been 2 inches longer if I had knit it to the pattern, but I cropped it. And I'm glad that I did, because I had literally like this much yarn left at the end, and I didn't know I was playing yarn chicken, but I was. And that was a little bit scary because at the end you go back and you pick up the neckline and you pick up the sleeves. So I had just enough to do what I needed, and I had this much yarn left over at the end. If you want to know exactly like all the details for this project, I have them linked in my Ravelry, which I can include below. And if you're not comfortable with using Ravelry, which I 100% understand, you can message me on Instagram, probably be the easiest, and I'm more than happy to talk about it. So I love this project. I'm really happy with this. I love how comfortable it is. As like I said, learning curve for working with cotton yarn, totally worth it because it wears really nicely. It's so light. Like I'm gonna wear this all summer for sure. And it's really comfortable. Like it feels like a, like a band tee. Like this is exactly what I want to wear. So I will 100% knit this pattern again, because it's like the perfect basic, the perfect staple. And it's really cute. Can't say that enough. So those are 2 finished objects. Let me keep going on the finished object train. Let's see how my memory holds up, because I never write down show notes, you guys. I'm just like, quiz time. So I definitely have talked about these. I don't think that they were finished the last time on my last episode, but anyways, I have 2. There's one, there's the other. These are the Wildflower and Honeycomb socks. I definitely have talked about these at least once on this podcast, maybe more. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. I did a few things differently than recommended, but I hope that you can see the details on this because it's really cute. This is a really cute sock. There's my heel and there's my ribbing. So I did the ribbing different. In the pattern they do twisted stitches. I'm picky about twisted stitches. They're growing on me. Anyways, I didn't do them for this pattern. I did a different heel than was recommended in the pattern. In the pattern they used the honeycomb style heel. I did not do that. So I did the Eye of Partridge heel, which is, it's just varying slip stitches, which I really like how it feels. It's makes the heel thicker. I imagine that the honeycomb stitch does that as well. I just have never done a honeycomb stitch, and I like the way that the Eye of Partridge heel looks. So these are my Wildflower and honeycomb socks. And this yarn is House of La Mode. I think that's what it is. And I couldn't possibly tell you the colorway. But really nice yarn, and it knit up beautifully, and I love these socks. Just really quickly, how do you guys feel about blocking your socks? I love the way that these looked after they were blocked. Like they're picture perfect as they are after they were blocked, but I feel like they fit better before I blocked them. Anybody experience that? Have any thoughts on that? I'm starting to feel like I just like the way that my socks fit before they're blocked, because they really like to your foot, where after they're blocked they're like kind of drapey, and then they don't have that much stretch room anymore. They kind of just stay the shape that they are, so hopefully they fit your foot. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if I have too many feelings yet either way, because I don't knit a lot of socks, or don't knit a lot of socks that fit. So just putting that out there. Any thoughts on blocking socks? I'm curious. So that is another finished object, and oh, okay, so I talked about this last episode. This is the scarf. Hang on. I'm blanking on what it's called. Shoot. Hold on a sec. Holy smokes. There it is. This is let me hold it up. Okay. Okay. I'm a professional. I'm not a professional. This is the Stay Soft Shawl by Vera Rain. Okay, it's big. Here's one end. Am I showing the right side? Nope, not at all. Starts up here. So this is one color, then it starts blending two colors together. Stripey. Yeah, that's right. Right side, thank God. And then it fades into the second color. Oh, should I put this on? This is also on my Instagram page. I love this. So this is the Stay Soft Shawl by Vera Rain, and I highly, highly recommend this pattern. I already have more yarn that I'm gonna knit another one of these in, because I really love this. It's like the perfect size shawl. There's enough interest in the pattern because like the way that it's constructed, I showed like the one color at one end, and then it fades to stripes, and then it fades to the other color, and then you go in and pick up this color at the end. So you're doing kind of the half width of a shawl for a long time, so it feels like it goes a lot faster. There's just enough interesting bits here and there, and it's beautiful. Like the end result is really very beautiful. It's like the right size. Like this is good amount of bulk for a shawl around the neck. I'm very happy with this project. I could not recommend the pattern enough. Okay, that is probably why I make a mess of my hair. So I do want to show you some of the details on here because they're very, very beautiful. Here's this little corner. I just want to show this as best I can. So this construction, if you ever knit this pattern, I read the instructions for picking up this color probably 10 times and reknit it that many times. It sounds complicated. Take it slow. It's very well written and it is clear. Just take it slow because I've never seen construction like this before in my life. It's very clever, very clever. So I'm just gonna show this again. So in case you ever knit this and are like, WTF, I don't know what to do here. I was trying to find literally any photo of anybody's version of this shawl just to see what this corner looked like, and I just couldn't like zoom into people's photos close enough because it was crazy. But it's very clever, and it is clear. The pattern is very clear. It was just my brain was just like, what is happening? So that's that little detail. It's beautiful though. Beautiful corner, and then it flows into this. So you're picking up this color here, and then it's slowly growing over time. And you're doing an I-cord edge. I don't know. I mean, honestly don't know how this color is even going to pick up. It's so bright. But there's an I-cord edge that runs the entire length of this color, and it's very clean and very beautiful. And you actually, sorry, this is so big. When you get to the bottom, so this is the bottom corner. Ugh, down here, this is the bottom corner. And then you do one row of I-cord along this whole edge. So it goes up here, and then you run it all the way up this color. See what I mean? Is this making sense? Is this a mess? I'm sorry. So this runs all the way up here. This little detail. Can I zoom in on that? Close up, maybe? It's really pretty. It just makes it look very clean. That's all I have to say. It was really beautiful, and I'm very happy with the end result. And it's light. So the yarn that I used for this project was Full Moon Fibers in their single ply. And I did talk about this yarn in my last episode, so if you want to check that out, please feel free. Can I remember the colors? The mint color is Encouragement. I know that because that's one of my favorite colors that Full Moon Fibers does. It's this like true mint color. It's beautiful. The speckle color is Vanilla Dip, like the donut from Tim Hortons. It's Vanilla Dip. Accurate. And I always forget what this one is. I just want to say fluorescent, but that's not it. Sorry guys. Yeah, you can refer back to my last episode if you want to know what that is. I'm disappointed in myself. Sorry. So yeah, this yarn was perfect for this project. The single ply yarn for this was really nice. It's just very like light and lofty. Like this is nice for winter, but I think it like translates through spring and fall as well. These are definitely spring colors, I would say. But I would wear this all the time because I just like color. So yep, this is the Stay Soft shawl. Highly recommend. Okay, do I have any other finished objects? So yes, I do. Yeah, okay. Oh, sorry, I'm all over the place. Here is one. I've never talked about this project before, and I did this a while ago. Okay. This is the Amherst cowl by Susan from KnitLib. Is her page called KnitLib? Or her podcast? She has a podcast. She does the KnitLib podcast. Her name is Susan. So yeah, this is the Amherst cowl. It is a dickie. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's this, basically. So I'm gonna put this on because it's pretty cute. So here she is. It's just like big and chunky and awesome. Like it's really cute with a jacket over it because it has this full knit panel that runs down your torso. So when you're like, if you're wearing a jacket, first of all, it keeps you really warm because it's super thick, but like I've worn this with a jean jacket and just like open, and it's really cute because it looks like you're wearing like this big chunky sweater underneath, but you're not. you will have noticed, like if you're familiar with this pattern, it actually is supposed to have a back panel that's like the exact same as the front. Like it should have this thing also on the back, but I did not do that because my back is always hot anyways. I don't know if that's weird to say, but my back is always warm. So I was not worried about needing warmth there. I wanted the warmth here, and that's how I wanted to style it. So it's just really, it's really cute and I really like it. I think the yarn that I use is maybe just like a little too bulky, because I'm finding that there's a bit of, like, as I wear it, it kind of gapes a little more than I want it to. Her pattern is so well written. I really can't like emphasize that enough. That, sorry, I don't know what's happening, and I hope it's okay. Okay, so I cannot recommend this pattern enough because like Susan's writing is just very clear. She is a Canadian as well, and she's based out of Calgary, Alberta, I believe. And I know that she used to like teach at, what's it called? Stash Needle Lounge in Calgary. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. I hope so. You can tell that she's a teacher or has taught people before because the language she uses, the way that she writes is so clear and just, I don't know, beginner friendly, people friendly. Like, that's all I have to say. I also love her style. Like, she's very creative and quirky. She's a librarian, and just like the design of the pattern, if you have a chance to look at it, like her artistic style is so cool and I love it. So highly recommend. So the whole pattern, she's written it to be like, this is the gauge that I recommend, but you can also substitute this yarn and substitute these needles and do whatever the heck you want to make it your own. And she's like, highly encourage you to mix yarns, use your stash, like go crazy. So that's how I came up with like this color situation is maybe a little out there. Like I'm holding, like, you know, this is like black and purple and gold. Is that weird? I don't know. You know, purple and gold, and then maroon. That's a choice, but I do really like how it came out. So there. So anyways, that was a project that I worked on. Early on when she released the pattern, I want to say like just after Christmas maybe, I don't know. It was in the winter, so she released the pattern and didn't do like a formal test knit, but she did do like a call for when she released it. She did like a disclaimer, like, I did not test this pattern, but I'm releasing it to whoever would like to knit it. And then if you could just knit it, and if you find anything that stands out that's glaringly wrong, please let me know. So I asked if I could be one of the like early release knitters, and I got the chance to do that. And so I started knitting the pattern right away, but I was experiencing a lot of wrist pain at that time. It had to be around Christmas. Before Christmas? November? So sorry, I do not remember. But at the time I was experiencing a lot of wrist pain, so knitting at this big chunky gauge was murder for my hands. I could, like, just my fingers, my wrists, it was not a good scene. So I was able to do like a couple rows on it at a time, and then I had to put it away because I could not finish it because it just caused me severe pain to knit on every time I picked it up, which was a bummer. And I felt bad that I wasn't able to knit it quickly to get her any feedback. I did not have any feedback because it was a great pattern. But anyways, that's the Amherst cowl. Okay, so that is the end of my finished objects. Kind of. I have one more finished object, and I can't quite 100% tell you about it because the pattern is not released yet. But I'm I'm gonna tease it just because. So quickly first, the yarn that I used for this project was Full Moon Fibers. This is what I have left over from it. So this yarn here, literally all that I have left of the main color. I don't know if you can really capture the essence of what this yarn was, but it was, I have the details. Oh, this was their Eclipse fingering base. So this is a 2-ply yarn, and it's 100% Peruvian Highland wool. Did I say this was from Full Moon Fibers? Both of these are Full Moon Fibers. You know, my faves. So this, I'm just reading off their ball band. So these are the details for that yarn. If you haven't seen it, it's that zebra yarn. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's becoming more popular, this yarn, zebra yarn. It's like 100% wool, and it's 2-ply as suggested. And some of the wool, like before it's dyed, some of the wool, most of it is white, as is the norm, but there are some flecks of black that are like, you know what I'm saying here, spun throughout the skein. So as you're knitting it, you get these like blips of black, which is really neat. So I'm starting to see that more from different dyers, and I really like the base. So anyways, this colorway, I don't know if I showed it or not. I don't know that I did, because I might have placed this order in the new year. I haven't podcasted since then, so sorry about that. So that's a great example of me actually knitting the yarn that I buy, because I bought it so fast I knit it right away. Good for me. I had 2 skeins of this, which I used for my project, and then this is Surrey. So this was in the, oops, sorry, I have the band here. This was a Once in a Blue Moon colorway, so this is like a colorway that they didn't repeat, so it's not one of their standards, but it's kind of a beige. It's not yellow, but it leans warm. So yeah, this is the Moon Dust Surrey base. So 74% baby Surrey alpaca and 26% silk. Isn't that lovely? I've talked about mohair before. My skin doesn't love mohair, so it seems to agree more with alpaca. If you experience the same sensitivity to mohair, maybe try alpaca. Maybe it might still, like, it's obviously soft. I mean, mohair is soft too to my hand, but then to my neck it's different. I don't know. Yeah, sorry. All that to say, I held these 2 together for my top secret project, and I have it all folded up here. So this is how those 2 knit up together. I'll just hold this here. So you see this color was quite a bit darker, and this is, you know, quite a bit more beige, but then when they're held together, like, the beige really mutes the darkness of this colorway, and the darkness of this colorway kind of, not warms up, cools down, I guess, this color a little bit. I don't know, I just really like how they blended together. Can you believe that? It made a whole new thing. So I do love how they knit up together. It's really pretty. Overall, like, the color is just, it's light. It's a light cardigan. Oh yeah, this is a cardigan. This is the first cardigan I've ever knit, and I can't wait to be able to show you properly because it's really cute. But I can't yet because it's not released. So this pattern is also a Kate Oates Designs pattern, and when is it supposed to, I think this week is when we're supposed to be finished testing it, and I imagine it'll come out very shortly afterwards, after she gets our feedback, because she's real quick after that. Like, she just kind of needs to solidify a few things, make sure that everything's nice and tight before release day, and then she's very good at getting them out afterwards. So can't wait to show you more on this pattern. Maybe I'll wear it in my next episode. That was one of my 2021 goals, like resolutions. I don't really do resolutions, but I did make a list of like, maybe if I feel like it, these are some goals for this year. And one of the things that I wanted to do knitting wise was knit a cardigan, because I haven't done that yet. And I wear a ton of cardigans in my regular life. I don't normally wear pullovers, but I knit a lot of pullovers because they're easy. You know, knitting cardigans, it depends on how you're knitting them. I haven't steeked a cardigan yet. Ooh, that's not on my list, but maybe it should be. I would like to do that someday, but if you're not steeking a cardigan, steeking means to cut it up the middle. You knit a pullover, essentially cut it up the middle, and then add edging of some kind if you so choose. If you're not doing that and you're just knitting it straight, I don't know what I'm trying to say, you're knitting back and forth. So you're knit one way and then you purl back, and then you knit and then you purl. So if you're not tickled by that concept, I wasn't for the longest time, which is why I kind of put off trying to knit cardigans, but now I really want to wear cardigans that I've knit, so I'm willing to put in the effort and suck it up because that's what I want to wear. So there's no sense in me knitting something that I don't want to wear. Not that I don't want to wear pullovers still, but I would like a little more variety in my knit wardrobe now that I'm starting to have a knit wardrobe. How exciting is that? So that is my last finished object to show. I have two main works in progresses to share with you. One of them I showed last time, so I'll show you that one this time again. Okay, this is gonna be a little chaotic because that's how I do, because it's in progress, so there are kind of needles everywhere. So bear with me. There's needles everywhere, there's yarn everywhere. Okay, here we go. Ta-da! This is the Stonecrop pullover by Andrea Mowry. Oh boy, is she ever beautiful. So I have a sleeve. I have a sleeve mostly done, and then I have my second sleeve started, and then I have the whole body is on hold right now because I found that I like to take a break after I've separated for the sleeves, knit the sleeves, and then come back and finish the body because it's really gratifying, and then it feels like it goes faster because you get the sleeves out of the way. Sleeves are kind of a pain in the butt. So this is actually not for me, this is for a friend of mine, and I definitely underestimated the amount of time that would be required to knit this, but she's been very patient and kind about the whole process because I've knit faster on other things, but this pattern has really challenged me. So not to say it's not a good pattern, there's just a lot going on, and I haven't knit anything quite this detailed yet. So I'll show you a close-up of some of the details here because it's really quite beautiful. So this is one of my sleeves, and yeah, so you can see there's a pattern repeat. I'm hoping that this shows, but there are these bobble details, these little bobbles, and like my bobbles are more or less outy. Like they're there, but they kind of get pushed back into the cabling that's around them, which I'm okay with, if that makes sense. And then these like colorwork sections are just gorgeous. I really enjoy the pattern of this, like just knitting this section is really quite fun. This section, like the cabling and bobbles, I don't like knitting cabling. I like the way that it looks, like the texture is really beautiful. I don't enjoy knitting it personally. I prefer color work, I think. That's just me. But I do enjoy the effect, and this section is so small that it's not that bad. So like I just kind of do it and get through it, and then do a color work section, which is fun, and then I do this section and get through it, and then do, you know. So anyways, it's been fun. It's been good. It's been challenging. I had a few places where I did make a mistake, and I was getting really frustrated with myself because like the numbers that I was supposed to be getting, I was not getting, and I was just mad at myself for making that mistake. And one day I did sit down and like I was like, okay, I'm just gonna figure out what went wrong here. It was fine. I just had to get through that because it's really frustrating when you get to a point and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I've done something wrong. And if I was knitting something for myself at that point, I would then throw it in a basket and probably never look at it again because it makes me upset. But because I'm knitting this for somebody else, I was forced to like push through that block. And I'm glad that I did, because I'm very happy with how it's looking now and how it's going. The fit is really nice. The fit is really cute. It looks really nice on. I've tried it on a few times just to make sure it's still making sense, and I'm very happy with it, and I'm glad I put the effort into correcting my mistakes. So yeah, this is where I am, and it's really quite lovely. I can't wait to block it because right now, like, it's a little bit stiff in places, and again, I've talked about how I feel about the yoke construction. It works, like, it's done for a reason. It does look very nice, but there's just some like puckering because of the fabric right now. So the fabric being a little stiff as it hasn't been washed yet, it's just doing a little bit of puckering when I'm trying it on, which is fine. That's gonna block out. So I'm just to say that I'm excited to block it and see how it looks when it's, closer to being done. Yeah, I'm using my hand spun, my needles. I've got a pair of needles that are clicking together here. I'll show you the yarn that I'm using. This is a Sangness garn. That's German. So this is a commercial yarn, which is really great. I've used this yarn before for like 2 other projects. It's really lightweight. I like how it wears, and I like how it knits, and it's very affordable. So this is a nice yarn. I like that. It's fingering weight. This is hand spun yarn. I've spun this yarn. So I've just, kicked it up. So, I mean, it's not as cute as it could be, but like, I think you can see the plies and the detail in that. I'm very happy with this. I had to spin some more of this, so I had like a ball of this when I first started, and that got me to the sleeve separation. So that got me all the way up, from top down to the sleeve separation, and then I had to spin up some more. So I got almost to the like decimal, the same amount of yardage for this, but with less weight, if that makes sense. So that just means that the yarn that I was, like this same yarn that I was using at the beginning of my sweater, was a little bit thicker. I think it was probably a sport weight, where this is closer to being a fingering weight. So the yarn that I started with was a little heavier, a little bit thicker, but I don't think that you can tell or that it impacts the way that the sweater will look or wear. I'm not seeing really any difference in the pattern from like across the chest to in the arms, where I'm using the new hand spun versus the hand spun that I started with, if that makes sense. So that's my Stonecrop pullover. Okay, I have one more work in progress. Needles, chaos, madness. So this is a lot smaller, so I hope this will be easier to show. This is all that I have right now. Yeah. That's it. So this is the very start of a Vertices Unite shawl. If you haven't seen the Vertices Unite by Stephen West, or do you even knit? I'm just kidding. If you haven't seen that pattern before, I highly recommend you look it up on Instagram. Just check out the hashtag for Vertices Unite, because there are a bajillion of them. It's a very popular pattern. It's been out for a few years. It's really quite lovely. There are two versions. There's a smaller and a larger size, and I'm doing the larger size. It takes five colors, and so I'll tell you about the colors that I'm using. I have this, which I don't have the ball band for, but I'm pretty sure the colorway name is Umber, and this is a Granui Co yarn. So this color, oh yeah, this color. It's beautiful. Kind of a yellow gold brown gold. It's stunning. And right now, so I'm doing section A, where you, wait, is that right? Section 1, where you start. And I'm holding this Granui Co yarn with, this is from my friend Laura from Lewis and Jane. So, oh, what episode was that? Maybe episode 4. I did a trade with Laura. She's in Canada as well. She's in PEI. And we did a little trade. I spun her some yarn and she sent me some avocado dyed yarn. So this is another skein of it. I have 2 skeins of this. Technically this is a sport weight yarn, but it's holding up really nicely with this fingering weight, because I wouldn't say that this yarn is sport, like it's a fingering weight, but it's like a plump and lofty fingering weight yarn. It's really quite nice. I think this is their, sorry, I'm flipping around a lot here. This is Granui Co.'s 85-25. That doesn't check out. 85-15, 85% merino, 15% nylon. I just really like how this base knit feels. A lot of people like 75-25, and I think I'm really drawn to 85-15. Maybe. I don't know enough about that. But anyways, so this is the second skein of Laura's yarn. And I thought that this was perfect for this project. Like, okay, so she dyed this herself with avocados. I don't eat avocados because I'm a really picky eater, if you didn't know that about me. But I kind of want to make Jared eat a lot of avocados so I can try natural dyeing some yarn. Crazy. So she did this herself, and just like the color came out stunning. It's like a beigey pink. Like, I know that sometimes it can lean more pink and sometimes it can lean more beige, and this is kind of perfectly in between those two things. So I have an extra skein of this. I don't know that I'll need it, but the yardage is 380 yards, which is pretty close. The Granui Co yarn is 437 yards, so that's a little bit more. I don't think I'll need 2 skeins, but I have one just in case I need it. So these two together is where I'm starting with. I love how they look together. They have like nice contrast. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So that's section 1, and that's where I've started. And I'll show you the other colors that I have. So I have these 2, which are also from Granui Co. Pardon me, I have fluff on my nose. These 2 colors. So this color is called the Black Forest. I think this is new, like newer from her, and I love it. I love this green. It's gorgeous. it's a warm green. It's quite nice. And then this is Castillo. So it's a good burgundy. I love a burgundy. I shouldn't have put that down there. So here's these four together. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then my fifth color, pardon me, is this. So I think I showed this last time. Spun yarn. So I spun this. This is a single ply. I need to ply it before I can take it off, skein it, roll it into a ball. But this is some spun yarn that I've done. Ugh, don't fall. So, oh no, oh my, can she do it? See all these colors? Does that make sense? You know, I think they're all kind of like color cousins, friends. Like they all just kind of look really beautiful together, you know? So I need to finish spinning this. I don't know if my camera is showing, but here's the rest of the wool that I have. It's beautiful. There's like blacks and maroons in there, different like tones. This was from Akari Yarns. So I've spun half of it and this is the other half, and I'm gonna ply them together to do a 2-ply. So I think that will be lovely, and I just need to do that. So that is my Vertices Unite. Oh, hang on. I actually did a sketch. I did a sketch of the colors because I wasn't sure where I wanted each color to land, you know what I mean? So here's my sketches of this shawl. Some of them are better than others, but okay, I'll just walk you through my brain really quickly. So because I didn't know how much yardage I was going to get out of the spun yarn, I made a list of the colors ranging from least to most yardage required in the pattern. So like color C requires the least amount of yardage. So I automatically said, let's make sure that color C is that dark purple for sure. And then we'll base everything else around that because I for sure have enough yardage for the rest of them. So I did a few different versions. Like this is me just like walking through, okay, these are where each color is used, and then I did a few different versions. So the one that I'm doing is this one. You seen that? So this one has like a big section of green. I didn't have like a beige pen to really properly draw this, but so the section that I'm doing right now, this is section 1, and that has the umber and the avocado dyed yarn together. So that section comes first. I don't know if I need to say every single color, but so there's gonna be like one big chunk of the green, and then the Castillo color will be here, and the umber color will come back again up here. And then so the spun yarn will be in this section and this section. So I just really liked how I was trying to see, like you can see in my other versions, like this block is very prominent. So I wanted to make sure that that was a color that I did really like, and it, you know, being down where the point of the shawl is, that's going to get a lot of, like, that's going to be right by your face when you're wearing it. So I liked how these solid colors played together, the green, the yellow, and the red. I think that that made a nice, like, color story, and then the rest, I think, will blend really nicely. So that's how my brain works, and that's what I landed on. But, you know, there were I liked them all, playing with them, but yeah, that was just, I wanted to do that because I just didn't want to like just pick up a color and knit it and hope that they all went really nicely together. I wanted to think it out a little bit more because there were so many colors in play. It would have been nice if I had an iPad or something that had like a digital feature where I could sketch that up a little faster, but I was like, I think I could find some pens that are this right color, so I did some sketching and that's what I landed on. So if your brains kind of work similarly, I highly recommend doing that, because I'm a very visual person, so I like to see what I'm getting into before I get going too fast on it. So that is my Vertices Unite shawl. That is all that I'm working on right now, and really quickly I will show you a few things that I have acquired and if I have any plans for them. Sorry. So, okay, so I don't have, oh, I'm so sorry. Tangent, my brain is ridiculous today, but I really quickly wanted to talk about these needles, which I'm using for my sleeve on my Stonecrop pullover. So these needles are like a DPN. You've probably seen these. I think they're called Addies. I think the brand is Addie, and I should have looked that up before talking about them, but they're like DPNs, but I just think they're really clever if you haven't seen these. So they have like, they have two ends as one does, but there's a flex in the middle, so they can really they can bend all over, but it's fixed. These aren't interchangeable or anything. So that section is, pretty short, but it just allows them to really be flexible. One other thing that's neat about these needles is that there are two different ends on them, which took me a little while to figure out, but there's a sharper end and a duller end, depending on what you prefer. I don't know if this is going to show, but I'm going to try. So here they are side by side. So the bottom one is sharper and the top one is duller. It's very slight, but I prefer the sharper end, so I always knit with that end, and then my yarn is sliding off of the duller end. So these are basically DPNs, but there are only 3 of them, as you can see. So when I'm knitting like a small circumference circle, these 2 needles are able to make that circle, where typically when you're knitting with DPNs, you need at least 4 of them, maybe 5, because to make this circle, you either need 1 that's straight and 2 to create a bend, or you need, 1 that's straight, 2 to create a bend, or you have 1, 2, 3, 4 needles, and then you're knitting with a 5th needle. So this reduces your need for a ton of needles, which I really like. I appreciate that. So if you've never used these, I actually quite like them for sleeves. This is the second sleeve I've used these for, and I'm very pleased with them. So just throwing that out there. I wanted to mention them real quick. I do not have any preference at all when I'm knitting small circumference. Like for socks, I definitely like the 9-inch circulars, but for sleeves, I'll do magic loop. I'm coming around to magic loop. I used to hate it, but now that I get it, I actually don't mind it. So I'll do magic loop, I'll do DPNs, or I'll do small, like a 9-inch circular if I have the size. Most of the time for me, it's just a matter of, do I have the right needle size for that? And if I do, then I'll use what I have. So I don't care what I'm using. But this sweater, this was the size that US 5, 3.75 millimeter. I just happened to have these needles for that size, which is exactly what I needed for this sweater. So that's what I used. Okay, really quickly, I'll tell you about a little bit of yarn that I did get recently. I haven't been buying a ton of yarn, which is great because I'm knitting with the yarn that I have. But Full Moon Fibers did an update. I don't know. I don't know when. It was maybe January, maybe February. Who's to say? In the winter, because these are very winter themed things. So I got a couple things in their wintry update. Starting with these guys. So this is a set. There are 10 mini skeins, and they're from the Winter Colors collection. So there is, technically these are two different sets and they've kind of blended them together. So there's like a cool set and a warm set, or the full collection. So I got the full collection because I wanted it. So they have grouped the 5 solids together and then the 5 like variegated colors together in these. So let me just like pull one of these out to show you. So when I was mentioning earlier about the eclipse fingering base, that's what this yarn is. So this is also the eclipse fingering, just in mini skein form. So I think that this very clearly shows the zebra effect that I was talking about. So you see like the black that's throughout that? It's pretty cool, it's pretty cute. That's not dyed, that is the natural wool that's mixed and spun and plied in. Hi, my kitten's here. Psst. Could you leave it? Thank you. Brat. So for this, with solid colors, when it's dyed with solid colors, you really can see that, you know, the color, the black that's mixed in there. Whereas with, let me pull one of these out. Like with this, there's a lot of colors in here and you can still see the black that is plied, but it's a little more subtle because there's so many different colors in here. So it's a little more subtle, like I said. So these colors are all very beautiful. I had originally planned to make like a couple different mittens, like stripy mittens with them. But now a part of me is like, what if I made a stripy tee? Is that bananas? Maybe. I don't know. So I'm gonna think on that a little bit more. But I just really liked all these colors and I thought they'd work really, like, obviously they'd work really nicely in a project together because they were designed to go together. And they're just beautiful, so I would love to knit with them. This wool, this 100% Peruvian Highland wool, is a little more rustic, if you will. But I'm really drawn to the more natural wools right now. I think that they're quite lovely. So I just like how they knit up and then how they wash and wear. So I'm enjoying that lately, and I'm very excited to knit with those. So once I get this pullover done, the Stonecrop pullover project done, then I have like a million ideas for things that I want to start. I'm just really trying to monogamously knit right now and finish that project because I don't want to be a bad friend and have that take forever. I mean, it's spring now, so I already feel bad that she's not going to get a ton of wear out of it before summer is here. But anyways, so this is, I also picked up this yarn at the same time. This is a bulky weight. I thought I had the band for it. Oh, I do. Sorry. Here it is. The colorway is called Bright Winter. So the base is called Celestial Chunky. It's chunky weight, not bulky, sorry. And it is 80% superwash, 20% nylon, 140 yards. So that color, just look at this color. I love this. I love this. I love this. Beautiful. So I for sure wanted to make a hat out of that. So hopefully I do before next winter. That's my plan. So that was from Full Moon Fibers, and then I did splurge and I got, sorry, let me collect my thoughts here. This is from Hello Stella Fibers, who is also a Canadian dyer. She's in Hamilton, I think, close to Toronto, somewhere near Toronto, Ontario. So she does this club called Hello Cozy Places, and it's a monthly club. So this was the February Hello Cozy Places colorway, and the place that she drew inspiration from was Amsterdam. So there's the little description, and here's her ball band. It's really quite cute. And then this is the colorway. So I'll just take that right off. So this is also 100% Highland wool. And like, yeah, so the colors in there, there's some like blue gray and some orange. And it's pretty subtle. I think this will knit up quite nicely. Some brown almost. Speckles. It's nice. It's subtle, and I think this will be quite lovely. The blue gray in it is like a dead ringer for the shirt that I'm, like the yarn that I'm wearing right now. So that just kind of made me smile because I just noticed that. This is really beautiful. This skein is big. Like, just, you can see how big this is, but it's no more wool. Like, it's still 100 grams, 437 yards. But just compared to, like, this is the Laura's yarn, like, it just is bigger because it's poofier. I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. It's not, like, it's not any thicker. It's still fingering weight yarn. It's still rather fine. It just, I think there's more air in it. It just takes up more space. So anyways, I'll find something to do with this as well. The socks, mittens, you know the drill. I am excited to knit with it though. I like the feel of it a lot. Again, like I mentioned, I do really enjoy this like 100% wool right now. It just feels really nice. Although now that we're getting into spring, summer, maybe I should be going more towards the like cotton and not wool route, because I will want to wear the things that I'm making. So yeah, that's all that I have for yarn. I did just quickly want to say I got the Spring Pom Pom magazine. This is number 36, Spring 2021. I'm sure that you've seen this around because it's very beautiful. I treated myself to a subscription for the whole year, so that's, you know, you get four copies throughout the year. There's a spring, summer, fall, and winter. So I'm excited because like I've prepaid for them and they'll come as they're released, and it was like a nice surprise to go to the mailbox and find this waiting for me, because there was no tracking with it, so it was just like, it's here. This is beautiful. If you haven't seen or, I don't know, got your hands on a Pom Pom magazine before and you're a knitter, I highly recommend. They're really well curated magazines. Like it's thick too. Like it's a nice little book, so worth the investment. I have a couple of them. This is my little collection of knitting related books. So I have a handful of pom poms. I have some nomadic knits, a couple Lane magazines. So I'm very proud to own this. Everything in this edition, what am I trying to say? The theme for this edition is the quilt inspired issue. So everything in it is like quilt inspired. The patterns are just stunning. Every single one of them I'm excited about. I want to knit. I just can't, you know? Like, I'm certain that this is knit in a linen or a cotton as well. You can just tell. Like, this would be lovely for summer. How stunning. So yeah, there are a lot of beautiful patterns in here. There are two by Amelia, who is Kindred Red on Instagram. I'm a huge fan of her work. She is like the color queen, loves bright colors. So this is one of her patterns in this magazine, and it's gorgeous. This one is called Crux. Amalia Sieber, Kindred Red. Sorry, I probably shouldn't show you everything in here, but I just can't. Stunning. So I'm very excited to get the following issues for the rest of the year. So yeah, this brings me a lot of joy. And does anybody, if you're a knitter, read patterns for fun? Like, I will read, like, this is the instructions for how to knit this pattern, and when I'm bored, sometimes I will read through this and just think about it, like, oh, this is how many skeins I would need of this, and oh, what fit would I prefer? Do I want a boxier fit? Do I want a tighter fit? And then I'll go through the instructions like a crazy person and visualize knitting that. You know? Anybody else? I was doing that for a little while to help me fall asleep at night, like, because instead of scrolling on my phone before I go to sleep, I was just like reading knitting patterns, and that did the trick. I was thoroughly excited about it. It's not that was putting me to sleep, it was just easy on the eyes, reading through numbers over and over again, and that just lulled me to sleep. So that's a little crazy thing there. Okay, so I'm sure this was another super long episode. I hope that's okay for you guys. I just appreciate every single one of you that are here and everyone who drops a comment down below. I don't normally say this, but I think I should, maybe in my episodes. If you liked this episode, you could maybe like it. Every time somebody likes it, I fall over dead excited. I'm just really happy that there are a handful of people here that are happy to be here. And every time somebody leaves a comment, I can't reply fast enough because it makes me so happy that there was something that I said that made you say, oh, I wanna say something here. That brings me a ton of joy. So, and you don't have to, like, no pressure or anything, but also if you're not subscribed, did you want to subscribe? That would make my whole life. I feel really ridiculous asking, but I'm just really happy for every single one of you that are here. You bring me a lot of joy. I'm happy that I could share all of this with you, and happy spring. I hope everyone's doing good. So until next time, hopefully it's sooner than this one was compared to my last episode, but until next time, bye!